politics. You read that wonderful essay by Ron Daniels on how it's important that black people have an agenda. It reminds me of the Covenant with Black America, 3 volumes edited by Tavis Smiley. But we got to have an agenda that talks about black doings and sufferings in relation to other sufferings, but you can't just eliminate or erase or assimilate ours.
Mm-hmm.
And too often we got too many black leaders who's on somebody else's plantation and going to try to convince us that they're free. No. No way. That's like being on Pontius Pilate's payroll and saying, I'm a follower of Jesus. It's not going to work, brother. It's not going to work. We found that out with Judas.
Yeah, I saw that piece you referenced a moment ago by Ron Daniels. It's a powerful piece about the need for a black agenda now more than ever. He was specifically honing in on the Mondami race in New York City tomorrow. And for all the success that Mondami's had, he's leading in the polls, and we will see what tomorrow actually brings. Big news today that he and Obama had a phone call, and Obama said, I want to be a sounding board. Obama has not endorsed, which is, to his credit, in fairness to him, I should say, in keeping with his not really getting involved in too many local municipal races. But Obama has not endorsed him. Chuck Schumer is still saying, here we are the day before, and Chuck Schumer is saying we're talking. I mean, the election's tomorrow, Mr. Schumer. What do you mean we're talking? Hakeem Jeffries finally either saw the light or felt the heat, and days ago endorsed Mondami in that race. But the point of Ron Daniels' piece, and I think Ron was spot on, was that Mondami, for all his success, really hasn't laid out a sort of black agenda. Now, you'll recall when it comes to the Covenant that you referenced a moment ago, the Covenant came out, went to #1 New York Times bestseller list, sold millions and millions of copies before Barack Obama showed up. That was the plan. We're going to use this Covenant to hold whoever the next candidates are accountable. We had endured George Bush. George Bush had left folk to die, black folk to die on those rooftops in Katrina, and we said never again. So we went to work to put together an agenda that we were going to hold Republicans and Democrats accountable to once that election rolled around. We weren't going to have it no more. We weren't going to stand for it. We were going to have our own agenda. That was the purpose of the Covenant that sold millions of copies. I didn't buy all those books by myself. So the point is that the book is out. Everybody's got the Covenant book. They got the Covenant cards with the 10 covenants on a card, that like a credit card in your wallet. I said anytime you go to any kind of community gathering, pull out your card with the 10 covenants on it. We had laid the groundwork for this moment to hold everybody accountable, Republican or Democrat, in the race. You'll recall that based around that book, the first ever Republican and Democratic presidential debates about issues related only to black people. We had all the Democrats. Dr. West, you were there. All the Democrats were at Howard University. All the Republican candidates were at Morgan State. We went to 2 HBCU campuses. Why am I giving you this backstory? 1, because Dr. West raised it. But I'm giving you the backstory number 2 because we did all of that work, and then Obama shows up and eventually pulls away from Hillary Clinton. And so here we are at this Covenant with this agenda that we're going to hold everybody accountable to. And all of a sudden, everybody said, Tavis, Cornel West, y'all need to sit down and shut up. Stop talking about a black agenda. We don't need no black agenda right now. And all hell sort of broke loose, as y'all recall. That's the backstory. We had a plan. We had a black agenda. And then all of a sudden, when he shows up, everybody says, maybe we don't really need no black agenda right about now. And the rest, as they say, is history. And when Obama leaves office, the truth of the matter is that black folk lag far behind, 8 years later, far behind, in every single leading economic indicator category. Don't believe Dr. West. Don't believe me. Just check your facts. We lag far behind in every single one of those economic indicator categories. So Ron Daniels raises this issue in his piece about how we hold leaders on the front side accountable to a black agenda. We'll pick the story up there with Dr. West when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
California to the Carolinas. Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580, standing with you in perilous times. If you've been impacted by the federal government shutdown or the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, you can find a food bank near you that's offering free groceries by going to lafoodbank.org or call 211. Additionally, LA County offers free meals at certain parks. There are meals and snacks for kids and seniors. Visit parks.lacounty.gov to find out which centers are offering which programs and to register in advance. And in addition to offering 2 free meals per day for all students, the LA Unified School District provides weekend meal kits for its students by request. The meal kits can be picked up on Fridays at grab-and-go locations. Please visit lausd.org/Cafe LA. That's lausd.org/CAFELA. We keep us safe. We keep us provided for. We keep us connected. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Megan Good, Michael Hyatt, Golden Brooks, Ty Burrell, Christine Devine. They're all coming together on Saturday, November 1st at Paramount Picture Studios for the Kits Film Awards, a red carpet celebration of young filmmakers from right here in Los Angeles. Presented by Kids in the Spotlight. The Kids Film Awards showcase original short films written, cast, and performed by local youth. Powerful stories across every genre, from drama and comedy to action and suspense. It's a night that blends Hollywood energy with real community spirit, highlighting the future voices of film. These are the next generation of storytellers, stepping onto one of Hollywood's biggest stages. Come out and experience a night filled with film, music, and inspiration, where creativity, community, and purpose meet. Tickets are available now at kitsinc.org. That's KITSINC.org. The 2025 Kits Film Awards, Saturday, November 1st at Paramount Picture Studios. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
Smiley and West continues right now. Dr. Cornel West and yours truly. So I was giving some backstory about this covenant that Doc referenced. There were 3 books: The Covenant in Action, and Accountable. So that was a trilogy of books trying to lay out an agenda to which we could hold other people accountable, an African-American agenda, unapologetically so. So Doc leads off today with respect yourself. We do have to respect ourselves. Ron Daniels writes a powerful piece about the lack of a black agenda on the part of Zoran Mondami and for all the other success he's had. So the question writ large that I want to let Dr. West wrestle with is what we make of these progressives, by any other definition, but progressives who really have not advanced an African-American agenda. Mondami, for the record, Dr. West, as you know, graduated from the Bronx High School School of Science, received a bachelor's degree with a major in Africana Studies from Bowdoin. His dad is a professor at Columbia, anthropology, political science, and African studies. That's his background. And everybody's excited about this campaign, but Ron Daniels makes the point. Where is the agenda? You campaign with Bernie Sanders for all those in spaces and places all across the country, and Bernie could not really tap into the black vote, in part because people didn't really see him laying out an agenda for African Americans in particular. What's that about? I mean, these progressive candidates do well otherwise, but can't really tell us what their agenda is for black America.
Well, part of the problem is, my dear brother, is that all of these politicians in the Democratic and Republican Party are tied to big money. They won't say a critical word about Wall Street or Silicon Valley. They won't say a critical word about levels of poverty, levels of mass incarceration, police murder, and police brutality. They are tied to their benefactors, big money that allows them to run for office and stay in office. And that big money tied to big military means they can never speak to the doings and sufferings of the masses of black people. I'm not talking about the black middle class. I'm not talking about the black bourgeoisie. I'm not talking about the black credentialized class. I'm talking about everyday black people. So when Obama comes in, we help put him in there. We did over 100 events for the brother.
Oh, yeah.
But what happened? It was Tim Guyton. It was Larry Summers. It was Robert Rubin. It was the folk tied to Wall Street that brought him in. So what does he do? He bails out Wall Street with trillions of dollars. The black middle class loses 58% of their wealth because they lose their houses. The black everyday poor and working people suffer even more, and the black incarceration increases. He can't say a word about the black mass incarceration or the poverty and talks about the bailout as if that's progress. No, that lets him know. Let us know whose side he was on. He was on Wall Street side, not Main Street. Same was true with the military abroad. Same was true with Israel and Gaza. So that when we think of these politicians, and Mamdani has been stronger on Gaza, God bless him. And again, I support the brother. I endorse the brother. But when you look at his team, you don't see a whole lot of black folk concerned about poverty, mass incarceration, and police brutality. He's already talked about rehiring the police commissioner that was under the prevailing mayor. And the police brutality is still out there, brother. They're even considering stopping frisk and so forth. So we got to put pressure on our dear brother Mamdani, even as, I critically endorse the brother, but I'm not going with any politician who's on somebody else's corporate plantation, a militaristic plantation, or a plantation that downlooks the needs and the sufferings of black people, poor people, brown people, and whatever. But Bernie Sanders is saying himself, what's left for the Democratic Party? That's what he says in the interview today, the New York Times. You saw that?
I saw that. I did see that.
I said, oh, my God, that's been the point we've been making.
Yeah.
And if the only option we have the Democratic Party in the face of fascism, brother, we're in deep trouble. We need mass mobilization. We need grassroots mobilization. That's why November 5th is very important in Washington, D.C., and other forms of mobilization going on.
Yep. This question might seem elementary, and if it is, that's okay by me, because it's something I think that we are still yet to wrestle with effectively inside of Black America, and that is endorsing people or supporting people, but then not being unafraid to hold them accountable once they win. We do the former really well, but we fall flat on the latter, Doc.
That's exactly right. Partly because we so obsessed with representation and downplay execution, follow through. We see that black face in a high place and feel good psychologically and symbolically, but where's the follow through in terms of the empowerment of black folk, working people, and especially poor people across the board? Thank God for the Black Lives Matter movement. You think about that. You need a Black Lives Matter movement under a black president, black attorney general, black head of Homeland Security. How come? Because they still tied to the powers that be at the top, and they're not fundamentally concerned about ensuring the folk on the bottom are being treated with dignity.
Yeah. This has always, I think, to some extent been the case in our community, that we get caught up with charisma, and I ain't against charisma. I love charisma, but we get caught up with personality, and somehow can't make the turn to holding them accountable to good public policy. And I think that's true probably of every community. I could run the list of charismatic personalities in every single community, but in our community in particular, there's something about us that gets caught up in that charisma, in that charm, in that personality, but we can't again make the turn to forcing them, holding them again accountable to good public policy. Is that unique to us, this personality thing that we have?
Well, no, but it's more prevalent among us. I mean, you don't have white folks just waiting for a white charismatic figure. They be waiting all day and all night for one. Our Jewish brothers and sisters, they're not into a Jewish charismatic now. They want to get somebody who's going to execute.
Yeah.
But we tend to fall prey because we've been so relatively powerless and feel impotent, feel as if nobody ever cares. And we think at least a black face in a high place provides a possibility of really caring.
Yeah.
But we still have to render them accountable, like your text, accountable.
Mm.
I forget what year that came out, but it needs to be reread, brother.
Yeah. The last year, we pushed out the covenant 20th anniversary, as you recall. So it's been 20 years since we came up with that idea for the Covenant with Black America. And sadly, the issues that were at the top of the black agenda then still remain. I wonder in this particular moment, to your mind, are there nuances in what that black agenda looks like now versus what we talked about 20 years ago?
No, same issues, brother.
Yeah.
Same issues that Martin and Malcolm and Fannie Lou talked about. Too much poverty, too much military spending, and too many militaristic, adventurous activities in other parts of the world that spend so much money and impose an ugly will on the people there. Too much materialism, people obsessed with superficial things and spectacle rather than substance and moral witness, and too much racism and xenophobia, not just the black folk, but Latinos and, of course, others as well.
Donald Trump was on 60 Minutes last night, and there are a number of things that he said that were, in keeping with Donald Trump, rather outrageous. I want to just play one or two clips here for you in case you missed him on 60 Minutes last night. And Doc and I will share some thoughts about this train wreck. I think a train wreck of a conversation last night with Norah O'Donnell on 60 Minutes. But here's Trump talking about the shutdown and the filibuster.
Helped end these government shutdowns in the past
when
they came about, and you did it by bringing.
I'm very good at it,
you
but I'm
brought
not going
members
to do
of
it by.
Congress
I'm not going to do it by extortion. I'm not going to do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way. There's something wrong with these people.
So then, what happens on November
is a
15th when the troops
case.
don't get a paycheck?
Schumer is a basket case, and he has nothing to lose. He's become. I just left Japan. He's become a kamikaze pilot.
Sounds like it's not going to get solved. The shutdown.
It's going to get solved. Yeah. Oh, it's going to get solved.
How?
We'll get it solved. Eventually, they're going to have to vote.
You're saying the Democrats will capitulate?
I think they have to. And if they don't vote, that's their problem. Now, I happen to agree with something else. I think we should do the nuclear option. This is a totally different nuclear, by the way. It's called ending the filibuster.
But to do that, he'd need Senate Majority Leader John Thune to change Senate rules.
Did you see John Thune said today they're not going to do that?
I know John doesn't. Well, John and a few others. But you know what? The Republicans have to get tougher. If we end the filibuster, we can do exactly what we want. We're not going to lose power. The theory is, then we'll do it. But then when they get into power someday, they'll do it. That's true. But you know what?
So you think John
We're
Thune...
here right now. No, I like John Thune. I think he's terrific. But I disagree with him on this point.
He said today he wasn't going to do it.
Well, that's too bad.
So there you have Donald Trump, Dr. West, last on 60 Minutes, among other things, saying he is not going to be exploited by Democrats in this moment. He believes that Democrats are going to capitulate even as we head toward, inexorably, we are hurtling toward the longest shutdown ever in this country's history. I said last hour, a new poll out today finds that nearly half of Americans blame Trump and the GOP for this shutdown, but Trump believes that Democrats are, in fact, at some point going to capitulate. He dug his heels in last night. How did you read that conversation?
Well, I mean, Trump is true to his gangster self, though, brother. He's no concern about the suffering that's taking place. Can't get outside of himself in terms of thinking that he's accountable to something bigger than his own ego. And he just thinks that his bully tactics means that people fall in place because he uses fear as a way of controlling people, subsuming people, subjugating people. But it's very interesting. He's willing to do away with that filibuster. If the Democrats had done away with the filibuster, we would have had the Voting Rights Act reenacted. We'd have the John Lewis reenacted. We'd have had a whole host of bills reenacted. So the very fact that he's willing to do that because he's got his own gangster policies he wants to push through, and they are deeply fascist in so many ways. And the Democrats, when they had their chance, they didn't speak like that, even with any concern of effective strategy. So you can see there is still a way in which both of these parties are just so decrepit. It's very sad that we're at such a low moment in the history of the country, and both parties themselves are not viable vehicles for the regeneration of the best of the country, past and present.
Yeah.
That's why we got to hit the streets. That's why we got to shut the country down. If we had a decent labor movement, or we try to bring some kind of confrontation with the fascists who are in D.C. right now, running D.C. right now.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned hit the streets, because that's exactly where I want to go in the last couple minutes that we have left in this conversation. And this might be a strange thing to say the day before Election Day, and yet I think it's something we need to wrestle with. Electoral politics matters. Make no mistake about it. I believe in voting and encourage people to exercise their right to vote tomorrow, all across this country. That said, the older I get and the wiser I get, the more I realize that it ain't all about electoral politics. And electoral politics can only take us so far. It can only do so much. Beyond electoral politics, what takes us the rest of the way to imagining the kind of America we really want to live in, Doc?
Well, that's a deep question. No, brother, I'm thoroughly convinced that electoral politics is a part of the strategy. No doubt about that. Mark Willie Thomas and others have taught us that with tremendous power.
Yep.
But it's just a part. It's not the whole thing. And if all black people had to do was to vote to be free, America would make voting illegal once again for black people.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. No, there's got to be more than just voting. But it starts with that.
Right.
It starts with that. And tomorrow is Election Day all across this country. And we have spent some time already in today's show talking to folk on the ballot tomorrow. We'll do that when we come forward here in a moment with Mayor Justin Bibb, the mayor of Cleveland, Ohio. Again, all these persons on the ballot making their final push for Election Day tomorrow. I love the piece that Ron Daniels wrote. By the way, if you want to read that piece, Doc referenced it. I don't want to close this conversation without mentioning this in greater detail. Mondami, the piece is called "Why Mondami Needs a Black Agenda." You can find it at Black News, or just Google. If you just Google Ron Daniels. And the piece, again, is called "Why Mondami Needs a Black Agenda." You can find that piece pretty much anywhere and read what sort of animated this conversation today between Dr. Cornel West and yours truly. Doc, love you much, man. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. Stay strong until then.
Much. Stay strong, my dear brother.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward on this election eve.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former President Barack Obama lit up a New Jersey rally with charm, playfully responding to a supporter's flirtation.
Hold on, I heard you, girl. Just settle down. I'm here to talk to everybody, not just you. I mean, you look cute, but I ain't married. Michelle's fine, too.
The crowd loved it, praising his charisma and sense of humor. Cook County, Illinois leaders are urging federal help for Black Ridge Township Chief of Staff Trinette Britt Johnson, stranded in Jamaica without vital kidney medication after Hurricane Melissa. And rapper NBA YoungBoy's recent Oklahoma City concert sparked a racism debate after extra jail staff were added for security. A black local trustee called it overt racism, but officials cited his legal history. The show ended without incident. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The city of Los Angeles is geared up to celebrate the Dodgers for the second straight year as World Series champions. A victory parade in downtown LA this morning will be followed by a rally at Dodger Stadium at 12:15. You must have a ticket to attend. A couple of final notes on the Dodgers. Their .203 batting average in the World Series is the lowest by a winning team in 59 years. The Baltimore Orioles batted only .200 to win the World Series in 1966. The Dodgers were also outscored by Toronto 34-26. Pitching does make a difference. It was a good day for both of LA's NFL teams. The Rams beat New Orleans 34-10. 4 touchdown passes for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, 2 to Devontae Adams. The Rams are 6-2. The Chargers beat Tennessee 27-20. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert had 250 yards passing, 57 yards rushing, and 2 touchdown passes. The Chargers are 6-3. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
California, this is your moment. The special election is November 4th, and your vote helps decide your future, your community, and your state. Drop your ballot at a secure drop box. Visit an early vote center or mail it. Your participation powers democracy. Every ballot makes a difference. Tell a friend to do the same. Sign up at where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov to track your ballot. Make your voice count. Don't delay. Vote today. A message from the California Secretary of State.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
We've got more show in front of us, but this is our last stop on our crisscross tour across the country today. On the election eve, we have checked in Minnesota. We've checked in with Texas, and now we are in the bellwether state of Ohio, specifically Cleveland, for a conversation with Mayor Justin Bibb as he makes his re-election push for tomorrow. Mayor Bibb, good to have you on the program, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Tavis.
It's my pleasure. First of all, before I forget, we talked to your friend and brother, Mayor Melvin, in St. Paul earlier.
Yes.
Melvin Carter. He told me to tell you hello. He said
that's my guy.
That's
he's also a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated.
I ain't gonna hold that against y'all. I am not. Dr. West is an alpha as well. Cornel West just went off the air, so I'm surrounded by alphas today.
Yes,
but I'm gonna hold it down for the Kappas anyway. But Mayor Carter told me to give you his regards when he came on. Said you guys are good friends. So let me ask you the same question I've asked our other guests today. We've been, again, as you heard me say, we've been in Minnesota, we've been in Texas, now we're in Ohio, talking to folk who are actually on the ballot tomorrow. I start with the same question for you that I had for others. How are you feeling the day before Election Day?
We feel really good. I was out knocking on doors over the weekend, making the case to the residents of Cleveland on why we deserve 4 more years to finish the job. Tavis, I was the first new mayor in 16 years when I was elected in 2021. We had issues around historic rates of violent crime, a lack of investment in Black and brown communities, and just a question of whether or not Cleveland could recover from the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And my campaign slogan, Tavis, in 2021 was Cleveland can't wait. We've had that same sense of urgency over the last 4 years, and the job's not finished yet. There's more to do, and hopefully the voters will give us 4 more years to finish the job.
I mentioned your friend Melvin Carter in St. Paul, who's on our program earlier today. The difference, there are any number of differences, but one of the primary differences between where you sit and where he sits is that you are the mayor of a blue city in a red state. He doesn't have that problem in Minnesota. He can be a progressive mayor in a place like Minnesota, where Tim Walz was the running mate for Kamala Harris, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of great liberal politicos historically have come from the great state, or have served the great state of Minnesota. But here you are again, the mayor of a blue city in a relatively red state. How have you done that balancing act?
Well, here's what I love about being a mayor, and the former mayor of Pittsburgh has this great quote I love. He says there are 3 political parties in America: Democrats, Republicans, and mayors. And my residents don't give a damn about my political party.
Mm-hmm.
They want a few fundamental things. Number 1, they want us to keep our streets safer. Number 2, they want me to make sure we have high quality basic city services. And number 3, they want me to put our people and neighborhoods first so we can tackle this affordability crisis that we're seeing in our state and across the country. And I'll work with anybody who shares my vision to move Cleveland forward. Just this morning, I was with our Republican Governor, Mike DeWine, talking about our partnership that we've had over the last 3 years to reduce violent crime in Cleveland. And we don't agree on a whole lot of issues, but the governor and I do agree on the importance of investing in public safety and making our cities more safe in Ohio, because safer cities make a stronger Ohio. But it is a challenge, Tavis. Don't get me wrong. We have a extreme MAGA Republican legislature who continues to undermine the progress that we want to see in cities. And it's important that I continue to make the case on why cities like Cleveland and Ohio matter. And Tavis, this isn't really about a partisan issue in my state. It's really an urban versus rural divide, right?
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of my time talking to rural lawmakers, bringing them to Cleveland, having them walk the streets and making the case on why we need a stronger partnership with our legislature and our state to move the great cities in our state forward every day.
You mentioned a partnership with the state. This obviously no surprise to you, but I've been at this long enough to know and have talked to enough mayors over the course of my career. It's not always easy navigating a municipality when you are in a state that leans red, and you are the mayor of what many would term a chocolate city. Oftentimes, these cities get written off by the legislature. The legislature is tired of hearing anything about Cleveland. Not unlike here in California. LA is not a chocolate city, but they get sick of hearing about LA. Here in the state of California, and I could run the list. You take my point. Tell me about that part. When you are the mayor of a chocolate city in a state that oftentimes leans the other direction, when there are people in the legislature who don't give a doggone about the city of Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful chocolate city, and I'm proud to be the youngest Black mayor in the city's history. Look,
absolutely.
Let's talk about the facts. A majority of the GDP created in the state of Ohio comes from 3 cities: Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. A majority of the tax revenue, especially the income tax revenue that the state relies on, is generated by the major cities in this state. And so if Ohio is going to be competitive, grow our population, attract more investment, attract more talent, attract more capital, we have to have common sense policies coming out of Columbus to move our cities and our state forward. And honestly, Tavis, that's the business case I'm making every day to members of our legislature, right? How can we work together to have a common sense tax code? How can we work together to have common sense gun reform? How can we work together to have common sense policies to make sure that our babies have clean air, clean water, and lead-free homes across our state? These are the things that voters want us to be focused on. And I don't get distracted by the cultural wedge issues that folks are trying to use to divide Democrats, Republican, urban versus rural. Those are just a distraction because at the end of the day, Miss Johnson living on Bartlett in the southeast side of Cleveland wants her pothole fixed. She wants the trash picked up. When she calls 911, she wants the police to show up on time, but respect her rights as a hardworking, tax-paying citizen of this country. And she wants to see our city move forward in a more effective, productive way. And that's the kind of message I continue to advocate towards when talking to folks across the state in the legislature.
Take me inside one of your meetings of the Democratic Mayors Association, of which you are the president, and give me a sense what Democratic mayors are talking about, what they are chagrined about, what they have angst about trying to run these cities in the era of Donald Trump 2.0.
Well, it's been a hard contrast from the historic federal partnership we have with former President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. I was in D.C. a lot, getting federal funding for infrastructure projects, making sure we had money for violence prevention programs, making sure we had money to remove lead from our daycare centers across the city. And that relationship has changed in a substantial way under this administration. And there are 2 things I think keeping America's mayors up at night, regardless of political stripes. I think number 1, public safety, public safety, public safety.
Yeah.
We need a serious on safety approach to how we reduce violent crime and keep Americans safe in our big cities and medium-sized cities across the country. And I've been very clear talking to my congressional delegation on both sides of the aisle. I need y'all to, give us more money from DOJ to hire more cops, give us more money from DOJ to invest in violence prevention programs, fund the FBI and DEA and ATF to focus on gangs and repeat violent offenders to get guns off our streets. But here's what's not the solution: the National Guard. We need the National Guard deployed for hurricanes and wildfires and to distribute food across our cities with this food crisis we have with SNAP benefits going away. But the National Guard is not trained in 21st century constitutionally appropriate policing. And the second big issue that mayors are focused on right now is housing. We have an affordability crisis in our country right now, and the housing shortage is a massive problem. That's why we're trying to do everything we can at the local level to address it, from the fact that we just stood up a $100 million housing investment fund with our local bank, Key Bank, that's going to bring online 3,000 more units of affordable and workforce housing over the next 5 years. I was just at a ribbon cutting last week for a new 55-unit senior high-rise going up on the west side of Cleveland. That's going to support hardworking seniors in my city. We're trying to accelerate permanent reform. These are the things we're doing and our cities, and we need a better federal partner in Congress and the White House.
When we come forward with Mayor Justin Bibb out of Cleveland, Ohio, on the ballot again for re-election in Cleveland tomorrow, I want to ask him how he would grade Donald Trump, specifically on public safety, number one. But you heard him say a moment ago that he's asking his congressional delegation for more money to do a number of things, including to hire more cops. And I'm always fascinated by how black mayors traverse the tricky political terrain of hiring more cops in cities that are full of black people. Karen Bass here in L.A., where I sit, has tried to navigate that terrain, and they're not the only two. But it's always fascinating to me when black mayors talk about hiring more cops and how their black constituents view that particular political item on the agenda. We'll talk about that with Mayor Justin Bibb when we come forward on election eve. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
On Thursday evening, November 6th, you're invited to the next KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Town Hall meeting. This time we're convening at Victory Bible Church, 1497 North Hill Avenue in Pasadena. The town hall will once again be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580 from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6th. But you're invited to join us in person for this urgent and necessary community conversation. The theme for this Altadena Eaton Canyon Fire Town Hall is Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The primary focus of this gathering is to inform residents about Southern California Edison's newly launched Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program and provide clarity on eligibility and the claims process. There are plenty of questions to be asked, and only KBLA Talk 1580 has the right moderators to ask the tough questions, the right stakeholders and community activists to share their insights, and we have confirmed the participation of corporate executives from Southern California Edison to answer our queries. So be sure to join us at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena, 1497 North Hill Avenue on Thursday, November 6th. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required at kbla1580.com. That's kbla1580.com. Light refreshments will be served immediately following the live town hall. This KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Rising Town Hall is brought to you by the Black Freedom Fund.
Vote centers across Los Angeles County are open. Don't wait for Election Day. Vote early at any vote center near you. You can drop off your ballot, vote in person, or even register and vote the same day. Make your plan, make your voice heard, and make it count. Visit lavote.gov to find a vote center or official ballot drop box close to home. That's lavote.gov, your trusted source for voting in LA County.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Justin Mayor Bibb. We've been crisscrossing the country in case you've just tuned in today, talking to people who are actually on the ballot. We talked to the mayor in St. Paul, Minnesota. We talked to the leading congressional candidate for the 18th Congressional District in Texas. That was a seat once held by Barbara Jordan and Mickey Leland and Sheila Jackson Lee and Sylvester Turner, and now we are in the bellwether state of Ohio, talking to the mayor of Cleveland, Mayor Justin Bibb, who's on the ballot for re-election tomorrow. Mayor, how would you grade Donald Trump on public safety?
I would give him an incomplete, and let me tell you why.
Sure.
I think he's been distracted by these weapons of confusion, these weapons of distraction, and these weapons of chaos. I think we all agree that we need to have common sense immigration reform in this country, and we also need to secure the border. But weaponizing ICE and preying on churches and hospitals and schools and using ICE as a weapon to divide Americans is not the solution. You talk about the National Guard. The National Guard, as I said earlier, Tavis, it's not the solution. But what is what I did this morning with Governor DeWine. It was me, the governor, our local FBI affiliate, our local ATF affiliate, our local DEA affiliate, all talking about how local, state, and federal law enforcement are working together to keep the streets of Cleveland safer. And so my plea to the president is this: Mr. President, give us more money to hire more police. Give us more money to get guns off the street through the ATF. Give us more money for the DEA to get gangs off our streets. That is the best way to address violent crime. And let's refund versus defund the violence prevention programs that they have cut from the DOJ that allowed us to hire violence interrupter programs to go in our schools and hit hotspots across the street to quell the violence across Cleveland. That is the solution. There's a way to do it.
I'm sorry.
But the way that he's been doing it right now is not the solution.
I didn't mean to step on you. Sorry for that. When we come in our remaining moments with Mayor Justin Bib, we'll talk about that question I raised a moment ago about the black mayors hiring more police. But this is Donald Trump from last night talking about those ICE raids, just mentioned by Mayor Justin Bibb in the conversation with Norah O'Donnell on 60 Minutes.
More recently, Americans have been watching videos of ICE tackling a young mother, tear gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood, and the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Well, you promised in your campaign that you were going to deport the worst of the worst. Violent criminals, rapists.
Well, that's what we're doing.
But a lot of the people that your administration has arrested and deported aren't violent criminals. Landscapers, nannies, construction workers,
landscapers
farm
who are
workers.
criminals. Yeah. No, look.
The family of U.S. service members.
I need landscapers and I need farmers more than anybody, okay?
Is it your intent to deport people who do not have a criminal record?
We have to start off with a policy, and the policy has to be you came into the country illegally, you're going to go out. However, you've also seen you're going to go out, we're going to work with you, and you're going to come back into our country legally.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley in Cleveland. Mayor Justin Bibb on the ballot for re-election tomorrow in Cleveland. I've got 2.5 minutes, Mayor. I'll yield it all to you. How do Black mayors these days navigate the tricky terrain, walk the tightrope of asking for more cops in cities where oftentimes too many of these cops abuse Black residents?
Well, I always believe, Tavis, that public safety is two different sides of the same coin. We need to be aggressive and smart about law enforcement, but also aggressive and smart about police accountability. My dad was a cop for over 30 years, and I remember very vividly those hard conversations about what to do if I was ever pulled over. But at the same time, we recognize that our residents want to see more police. They want to have more police visibility, but they also want us to have an all-of-government approach to reduce violent crime in our cities. For example, we spent a number of different resources this past summer to touch over 11,000 young people to make sure they had a productive thing to do this summer to keep them off the streets. We invested in a nearly $10 million violence prevention endowment fund so we could fund these amazing out-of-school time providers who are keeping young people off the streets and in productive pathways towards success. And so we got to do all of the above. And as mayors, I think that is our moral obligation. Keep our streets safe, but also make sure we give people more hope, more opportunity to achieve their God-given potential. And that's the work and that's the job we're doing every single day as America's mayors.
Always fascinated by the way these dots connect on this program. You heard Mayor Melvin Carter at the top of our show today mention how long his father served as a member of the police department in St. Paul. Now Mayor Justin Bibb telling us the story of his father having served in the police department there in Ohio. So there you have it. He is the mayor of Cleveland on the ballot tomorrow in the city of Cleveland for re-election. Mayor Bibb, thank you for coming to this program and all the best to you on your election tomorrow. Hope to talk to you somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Tavis, for having me.
Thank you for your time. My great honor to have you on this program. When we come forward, a conversation about why Donald Trump doesn't really want to feed 42 million Americans. Breaking news earlier on this program, the Trump administration told a judge a couple hours ago that it will partially fund SNAP benefits using contingency funds. The key phrase in that sentence that doesn't exist is that they will only partially fund. We're going to get into that part when we come forward with our next guest here, Joel Berg, CEO of Hunger Free America on Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former President Barack Obama lit up a New Jersey rally with charm, playfully responding to a supporter's flirtation.
Hold on, I heard you, girl. Just settle down. I'm here to talk to everybody, not just you. I mean, you look cute, but I ain't married. Michelle's fine, too.
The crowd loved it, praising his charisma and sense of humor. Cook County, Illinois leaders are urging federal help for Black Ridge Township Chief of Staff Trinette Britt Johnson, stranded in Jamaica without vital kidney medication after Hurricane Melissa. And rapper NBA YoungBoy's recent